3, 2, 1. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of
Thick Slices and Deep Cuts.
Today, no thick slices, maybe a few deep cuts, but we're going to be ranking the albums of Steven Wilson. We're big fans. We've got the matching t-shirts on again. We've got one of Eddie's t-shirts for the song Personal Shopper in the background. Obviously Steven Wilson came to fame fronting the band Porcupine Tree for several years, but for about the last decade he's been doing a solo project. So he has 5 studio albums to this point, so we're only ranking 5. However, he does have an EP called 4.5 because it came out after his 4th studio album, but before his 5th. And then he has a 6th album, which was supposed to have already been released, but because of all of the nonsense in 2020, he's postponed it to next year. But we have heard one song from it called Personal Shopper, which you're a big fan of, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And Addie here's a little tired because we're on vacation. We're filming from a cabin at Mark Twain Lake. We've got the dogs here, and we've been basically swimming nonstop since yesterday, or so it seems. Swimming and grilling and doing bonfires and things like that. So.
And making s'mores.
Making s'mores. And did you enjoy swimming in the big lake?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we got the indoor pool here too, so that's kind of fun. And we may not be done yet, so. But we'll get right to it. So he's got 5 albums. I'll just touch on the EP. So if we were to rank 6 things, this would be number 6, just because it's an EP. It's shorter, but 4.5 is cool in that it's an EP, but it's almost 40 minutes long. It's about 37 or 38 minutes. It's got a bunch of good songs that are either proggier or they just didn't fit with the theme of an album called Hand Cannot Erase that came out the year prior in 2015. So you've got songs like My Book of Regrets, which is an excellent song. It just doesn't quite fit with the rest of that album. Year of the Plague is great. It's an instrumental. It's got really good strings. Happiness 3, I don't know, that's kind of on its own. It's kind of an upbeat number that doesn't really fit with any of the albums. Sunday Rain Sets In is another cool, dark, jazzy one that doesn't really have a proper home on any of the albums, so it fits here. Vermilion Chorus sounds like an old Porcupine Tree heavy instrumental type song, and then you finish it with Don't Hate Me live, which has Nanette doing some vocals, so that's an old Porcupine Tree that's been revised. And also there's a remake of a song Lazarus, which is also a Porcupine Tree song. So you've got 5 cool songs here from the Hand Cannot Erase era, and then 2 redos of some Porcupine Tree songs. So it's pretty cool.
And we have some new Pringles.
Oh yeah. In fact, do you want to go over there and grab them and just flash them to the screen here?
Sure. So these are the ones we bought and we never seen them before, and Daddy does not like these that much.
They are Parmesan and roasted garlic.
And Daddy
They're a little weird, I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, Daddy thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, we can leave them on the screen here, but okay, so we'll start with number 5. An album that probably my daughter's favorite and one that I really enjoy. It's 2017, it's To the Bone. Your favorite song, this is like her favorite album. Your favorite songs, Nowhere Now, Pariah, Refuge, Song of Unborn. Other songs, and I agree with all those tracks. Some other songs I like on here would be Detonation, People Who Eat Darkness, Blank Tapes, Same Asylum as Before. So this is an excellent album. I think he got some grief because it's not quite, progressive enough. There aren't enough long songs, and it's not super complicated. But he's a true artist, and he just goes where he feels he needs to go from album to album. He does not. I'm sure he cares what the fans think, but ultimately, when he's making music, he cannot care what the fans want. So he follows his passion, and this album is solid. It's even. If you're up for proggy music, I find it to be proggy. It's got that level of detail and layering that I always enjoy. So I really dig this album. It's just, he's got other great albums, and I probably listen to this more than ones I rank higher than it, but probably because it's, you know, newer. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with this album at all. So, but that's number 5. Coming in at number 4, we're going all the way back to his first album when he was still fronting Porcupine Tree. This comes from came out in 2008. It's called Insurgentes. And I don't know what he was thinking when he released this, as far as it's just a hodgepodge of songs. There's not like one consistent theme, or even the recordings sound like they may have been done at different times as well, certainly with different musicians. So I think at the time that he released this, it was just more of a, hey, I've got, you know, I've got 65 minutes of music here I'd like to release. So you've got the opener, Harmony Korine, which is super catchy, but then it goes into complete experimental, you know, abandoner and salvaging, and then one of my favorite tracks he does is Veneno para las Hadas. It's just a real drifty, eerie one. You know, Significant Other is catchy. Only Child is cool. Get All You Deserve is very harsh and heavy. It ends with a nice, and that's juxtaposed with the title track to end it, called Insurgentes. So there are some tracks on here I don't know what to do with, but the ones that are good are really good, and it's kind of all over the map. It's very experimental. And again, I don't think he necessarily wrote and recorded it all in one fell swoop. It sounds like it was just different ideas created over different periods of time with several different musicians. So, but it's very cool. Dig this album. Kind of dark. Okay, coming in at number 3, we've got 2015's Hand Cannot Erase, which is a concept album based loosely on a true story about a woman in London who, they say she was fairly good looking and well liked, and somehow she, because of the way the world works now, she had like a seizure or something, and she died in her apartment, and nobody checked on her for 2 years. I don't understand. So she died of mysterious causes alone in her apartment for 2 years without anyone finding her. So this is sort of loosely based on that. But, you know, this is an excellent album. You've got Marco Miniman on drums, Guthrie Govan on guitars. Really their prime lineup. You know, and you've got, you know, songs like Routine. We love that. There's a version that they do live that we just absolutely love. Routine. Home Invasion into Regret Number 9, which is an instrumental. The shorter song Transients. The big epic Ancestral and Happy Return. So this is, while I don't, you know, necessarily love every single track on it, you know, even the ones that, you know, that aren't my favorite are still well done, maybe just not my style, but this is a heck of an album. Hand Cannot Erase. This is many people's favorite album right here. So that's coming in at number 3. And then here we go, the big 2. The top 2 were never in question.
Daddy loves this one.
Yeah, so this is 2013's The Raven That Refused to Sing, and Other Stories. It's just got 6 big songs. It's just, this is Steven Wilson with that lineup again of Guthrie Govan and Marco Miniman, and obviously Nick Beggs on bass, and Adam Holtzman on the keyboards. He's even got Theo Travis playing like flute and sax and stuff like that on here. Best lineup. Saw him live on this at a Park West in Chicago that holds 1,000 people. It was brilliant. It's just his he's got Alan Parsons in to record. He wanted this recorded analog. It totally sounds like it's out of 1973, so it's already, they're already appealing to people like me with this. But you open it up with a huge song called Luminol, 12 minutes long. It's basically like half instrumental, and then the back half is a song. It's great. Drive Home. All these are like kind of like, the cover kind of looks Edgar Allan Poe-ish, and these songs are all like these little haunted stories. Drive Home's a good one. The Holy Drinker is one of the probably the coolest. It's not the coolest though, because there's a song called The Watchmaker that's also cool. The Holy Drinker and The Watchmaker are both really cool heavy proggy ones. Drive Home's great. The Pin Drop is the only one that's under 7 or 8 minutes, and that one's catchy. And then most people's, I like the song. Most people say the best track on here is the final track, the title track, The Raven That Refused to Sing, which is a really sad song, but it's really well done. There's a really cool video that goes to it. So this album, I think the general consensus is this is his best album. And who am I to disagree with that? But I am going to disagree with that for purposes of this episode and go with 2011's Grace for Drowning. It's a double CD studio album coming off of the Insurgentes album, and at this point he has ended Porcupine Tree. And this album's a little bit more connected than Insurgentes, although once again he's kind of all over the place with this, which I love. But you've got these, on both CDs they open up with these nice little melodic short piano pieces. Jordan Rudess of Dream Theater, of all people, adds one of them. And it goes right into Sectarian, which is this heavy angular instrumental that reminds me totally of King Crimson, and it even has this dark mellotron in there. Never heard anything like it other than maybe the Devil's Triangle or something like that from really old King Crimson. Deform to Form a Star comes after that, and that's like a really melodic, catchy song that has not, that couldn't be further from what Sectarian is. And then the song after that, No Part of Me, is another catchy song. So you go from this harsh big song in Sectarian to two super catchy ones. Postcard. So you got 3 in a row that are super catchy. And then you finish off the CD1 with Remainder of the Black Dog, which is so dark and proggy. Probably top 3 Steven Wilson song, Remainder of the Black Dog. So you've just got this nice back and forth mix of harsh and dark and proggy and super catchy and melodic. The second one, you've got Index, which is sort of his industrial type thing, but so catchy. Track 1, Dark, you should see the video for it. Lasse Hoyle directs a video for that song. Track 1 is just, it's cool. It starts, it's, if you like dynamics, if you like your songs to start out light and dreamy and just turn into a friggin', you know, nightmare or something like that, for lack of a better term, that song is great for that. And then the 24-minute track, Raider 2, another top 3 song. This is why it's my number 1. My all-time favorites from him are sitting on this album. Raider 2 is this 24-minute piece based on a guy named Dennis Rader from like Wichita, Kansas, who was a serial killer. But it's just, I think there are only like 16 lines of lyrics, but it's 24 minutes long. So just tons of just awesome, dark, progressive jamming. And then it finishes with another like catchy, upbeat one like Dust I Have Cleared From My Eyes. So this to me is, it's my favorite thing to hear him play. It's just those heavy, dark, super progressive songs mixed in with all those good melodic ones. And it's a double album. So that's my number 1. And then just to touch on a few things, he has this album out called Cover Version, which has 12 songs. So it has 6 covers, and then with each cover it's a song that an original that he wrote that doesn't really fit with, you know, his solo project or any of the bands he's been in. So you've got covers from Alanis Morissette, The Cure, Prince. My favorite is some guy named Donovan, a guy. It's called Lord of the Reedy River. It's great. I heard the original, and the original sounds nothing like this awesome version. But this is really excellent. I mean, I would suggest buying this just like you would any of his studio releases. So Cover Version is really cool. Also, we got our shirts have this cover. It's called Transients. This is a little compilation from Insurgentes up through 4.5 that just includes all of those catchy, more concise songs. So you're not going to get any of the long form, stretched out, you know, super complicated stuff on here. This is all that streamlined stuff. So this is cool. And then let's see, it's a Blu-ray called Drive Home. It's got some live performances of that great lineup on The Raven That Refused to Sing from Frankfurt, Germany. And then you also have a bonus track called The Birthday Party, which was a instrumental outtake from the Raven That Refused to Sing sessions. You know, so this is cool, worth having. Insurgentes the movie. It's a strange documentary of Steven Wilson hanging out mostly in Mexico City. It's very strange. If you like David Lynch or something like that, this has a lot of strange imagery. I don't necessarily know what Lasse Hoyle was putting together, but I kind of like going along for the ride, so it's pretty cool.
In the last CD.
Yeah, well, we have two, but these are the two best. Get All You Deserve came out during the Grace for Drowning tour, and this is where Marco Minnemann is in the band at this point. This is great. It only covers Insurgentes and Grace for Drowning, but it pretty much covers them, and then it adds Luminol, which the Raven That Refused to Sing wasn't quite out yet, but that song was already written, so you get your introduction to that song in a live setting here. So this is still great, but I remember watching it obsessively for some time. Oh, saw him on this tour too. And then last but not least, this is the one Addie and I watch a lot. It's called Home Invasion. Came out at the end of 2018. It was off the To the Bone tour, but it covers a lot of the Hand Cannot Erase album as well, and a lot of old Porcupine Tree songs too. So if you miss Porcupine Tree, he's, ever since I've seen him play, going back to Grace for Drowning and on the Raven That Refused to Sing tour, and then on this one, he'll always give you a Porcupine Tree song. So no worries there. You know, once again, he's got a cool band. He's got a different drummer, different lead guitar player, but it just seems like no matter when a great player leaves, he just plugs in more great musicians. So there you have it. Only 5 studio albums, but certainly lots to talk about. And then, like I said, he's got an album that's done and should have already been released, but we're waiting on that. So that is ranking the Steven Wilson discography. And then one more time real quick, we've got number 5, To the Bone, number 4, Insurgentes, number 3, Hand Cannot Erase, number 2, The Raven That Refused to Sing, and number 1, Grace for Drowning. So that's it from here at Mark Twain Lake. We thought we'd get one of these in before we head back outside. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys very soon. Thanks.